Hey everyone, welcome back to today's video. My name is Jack Routledge. I am a former banker, mutual fund salesperson, and loans officer. I'm here to talk to you about money and the way that I like to do it. No BS, what the banks don't want you to hear, all that jazz. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe so you can see what's coming up next, as well as follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I try to post there daily and do some shorts here on the YouTube channel as well, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Today's topic is regarding Robo-Advisors, so let's dive right into it and let's discuss this and see if it's an investment platform that will work for you and your needs. So what is a robo-advisor? Well, my title and thumbnail might not quite be exactly accurate. It was a little bit of clickbait, but I appreciate you sticking around to hear a little bit more about it anyways. What a robo-advisor does is it takes the investing advice part of setting up an investment portfolio and uses algorithms and inputted data to give you an investment portfolio that will work for your needs. So what you do is you go to the website of whichever robo-advisor you like. You'll be asked to put in your KYC data, so you know your client stuff, so things like investment objectives, time horizon, what you're wanting to do with the money, those kind of things, and then your risk tolerance, and then it'll spit out a portfolio and an asset allocation that works for you. If you're fairly risk averse, it may be 80-90% fixed income and a little bit of safety of investments like GICs and savings and cash, and a tiny bit of equities, all the way up to 90 or 100% equity-based portfolio, depending on your risk tolerance and your needs. What then happens is that any money you put in is automatically invested into a bunch of different ETFs, and it's all rebalanced to stay within that asset allocation by computers. Because it's an ETF portfolio, they're not going to generate huge returns. Generally, these are passive investment solutions. Say the S&P 500 returns 15% in a year, for example, then you will get, say, 14.5 or 14.3%. So it's going to own all of the same investments and weightings and everything that are inside the S&P 500 index, but there's small management and transaction fees that come off the top there. So that's why ETF indexes don't quite return the same as the market that they track. The great thing about robo-advisors is that because they aren't buying mutual funds, the MERs are a lot lower. A lot of actively managed mutual funds will have MERs, the management expense ratios, that are 2.5, even 3% on a really high-end one, because they're paying people to actively pick and buy and sell stocks and stuff, whereas an ETF just follows a pre-made portfolio, so there's no reason for them to be buying and selling all of the time. One nice thing about robo-advisors is they do try to emphasize making good investment decisions as far as setting up auto deposit, taking money right off your paycheck. Some offer roundup services where, say, you spend $53.75, it'll take that extra 25 cents, round your transaction up to $54, and then take that quarter and invest it into your account. So it's not a lot, but it's an easy way to get a little bit of dollar cost averaging, as well as just continue with that consistent investing, which is my number one tip: be consistent. The nice thing about not having active investment portfolios is that they are generally cheaper. Wealthsimple, for example, is a very popular Canadian fintech company here. It started as a robo-advisor fee. They charge 0.5% at the absolute most to manage your portfolio for you. Once you have more than $100,000 on deposit, it goes down to 0.4%, and then there might be another step up there as well for really high net worth individuals, but sometimes a robo-advisor might not be what you're looking for when you're super high net worth. Another thing with Wealthsimple is that these fees are a bit higher than some of their competitors, and you can definitely find cheaper options, which we'll talk about here in this video. And some offer additional services as well, things like tax loss harvesting, some boutique advice if you are in some of those higher net worth categories, just little value add features to make their product worth it for you. All this talk about robots and passive investing, you might be thinking, well, geez, I'm just going to give my money to a firm. They're going to stick the numbers into an algorithm of some sort, and they're going to invest, and there's not going to be any way I can get any help or advice. Well, that's not quite true. There's always phone lines that robo-advisors have. So I know Wealthsimple, I've had to call in before, and you talk to mutual fund registered reps who are able to help you and give you investment advice if you need it, as well as some do offer more boutique advice, like Just Wealth has a team of advisors that help them out there as well. So it's not that you can't get advice, it's just that you don't start with advice. Another massive advantage is that a lot of robo-advisors offer $0 account minimums. So as long as you have valid government identification and a social insurance number, you can open any type of investment account with these places. This is super great because a lot of mutual funds have a $1,000 minimum investment, or setting up a regular investment plan of $25 a month. Some other self-directed brokerages or other robo-advisors do have account minimums as well, so just keep an eye out for that if you're shopping around. The downside to not having advice is that you need to be aware of your situation and what your goals are. You can't just sit down with someone and say, hey, I want to start setting aside some money, and they'll help you figure out exactly what to do. You have to have a little bit of a concept of what's going on, because the algorithms can only give back as good information as you put in. So if you put in that you have a super high risk tolerance and that you are going to take the money out in a decade, well, if you take the money out in a year and you suffer a massive loss, that's not the algorithm's fault. That's just the information you fed into it was not correct for your actual needs. So you do need to be slightly conscious of what your investment needs are. That said, if you're watching this video, you're probably already on the right track. Another nice thing about Robo-Advisors is that a lot of them do have blogs and articles on their website that cover all aspects of financial advice, not just investing, but debt management, personal finance stuff. So there's tons of resources that these websites will put out for free as well, which is a super great resource and a value add service there as well. So I'm going to go through a couple of Canadian options here. I'm not going to talk about the investment holdings that they offer, since that's going to be super dependent on your risk tolerance. And I do want to emphasize that this is not investment advice here. I'm just simply talking about options, and that you're going to need to do your own due diligence to fill in the gaps that I don't quite tell you about to pick the proper firm for your needs. And then also, for full disclosure, I do use Wealthsimple myself, but this is not a paid endorsement. They probably don't have a clue who I am, nor would they necessarily want me to talk good or bad about them. So I use their service, but they have nothing to do with them professionally. That said, Wealthsimple, if you want to sponsor me, reach out, email in the description. So I'm not going to talk about Wealthsimple either, because I've covered quite a bit generally with it. So I'll talk about a few other options here. One of the first options in Canada is called Just Wealth. This is an award-winning robo-advisor firm offering minimum account balances of $5,000 for non-RESP accounts. RESP accounts have some different rules here. I'm not going to dive too deep into those today. That said, account minimums, I consider this a downside. Management fees are a minimum of $4.99 per month, with a 0.5% fee charged on the first $500,000 that you have on deposit with them. And once you're over that $500 balance, it goes down to 0.4%. They also offer tax loss harvesting, Canadian and US dollar accounts, which, as I've done a little bit of research, not a lot of firms offer this. So if you do a lot of US specific investing, this could be a great option for you. Automatic rebalancing, obviously. They have some financial planning and transitionary account services, and market commentary comes out quarterly to help you make decisions if you have a self-directed account as well, and just to help understand what's going on in the world. So next up, we have the BMO Smartfolio series of Robo-Advisors. So this is a mixture of passive and active investing, uses BMO branded ETFs that can have the asset mix changed by professionals if things go sideways in the market. So they are passively invested, but if things start to get very hairy, you do have professionals who step in to change asset allocations to hopefully help limit losses. I want to apologize, the framing changed slightly. My camera battery died in the middle, so I'm picking back up here. So since BMO Smartfolios offer in-house ETFs, they could be a bit more pricey, with fees ranging from 0.4% to 0.7%. And so you had $1 million, that's a difference between $4,000 and $7,000 in management fees, so it can make a difference. There's also a $1,000 minimum investment size. This could be a convenient product if you already bank with BMO and would like to keep everything in one place. Could be a bit more expensive, and banks usually a bit more risk adverse with the investments they pick, so it may not offer the best returns compared to some more boutique label robo-advisors as well. Finally, the other one I want to talk about today is called Quest Wealth. You've probably seen the ads for Quest Trade and Quest Wealth here if you live in Canada. Quest Trade is the largest self-directed online brokerage, and they also offer robo-advisor services here. The nice thing about Quest Wealth is that you can have both your investments and your brokerage all in the same app, meaning if you do want to dabble in some self-picks, it's all there and available for you as well. Fees are as low as 0.2 to 0.25%, and account minimums are $1,000. So it's a solid option if you want to have more flexibility and you feel like you need a little bit more control in your hands with some of the investment picking, being able to mix both brokerage and robo-advising. And then the nice thing about them is that they are a big firm. They have $30 billion under management, and they seem to be a well-run company from what I understand. They've won lots of awards, you see lots of advertising, you hear a lot of good things, so I would trust them with my money. So those are just a few of the options here. There's a ton. Pretty much every big bank has some sort of passive investing option, as well as tons of online brokerages and robo-advisors to choose from here in Canada. So, you know, all of them kind of pick a niche they want to focus on, and that's where they make their difference. If this has caught your attention, I would definitely recommend doing your own research, choosing a firm that meets your needs and goals for your investments. And as always, the most important part of investing is actually doing it. So don't get caught up in analysis paralysis. Just pick one, get going on it, set up that regular investment plan. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, go follow me, TikTok, Instagram. Thank you.